Hi! In my last video, I built this 56cm version of the DMFV jump racer from printing foam. I gave it a really bright colour scheme and a jaunty little pilot, so I was eager with anticipation to see how it would fly. I took the freshly built plane to indoor aviation at Melbourne. The build had gone well, and I'd done some thrust tests, so I felt it had enough oomph to get it airborne using the new little brushless motor my brother had given me. Check out how the maiden flights went. Okay, all set for our maiden flight. Taxiing test. All cleared for takeoff. Or not. Not enough power. Try the 800 mAh battery. Nope, not interested. Try it with a bit of flap. Just barely getting off the ground. Starting to get raised by my fellow pilots here. Try it with the 800 mAh battery now. Unfortunately, I'm not able to get above ground effect. I tried a hand launch. That prop sounds really out of balance. This is my last attempt and about my best flight, but I didn't have enough height to turn around safely. Well, that didn't go well, did it? There were issues with keeping the plane in the air. In essence, there wasn't enough thrust for the weight and efficiency of this plane. I tried the 250, 500 and 800 mAh batteries that I had. I then tried adding some flap, and I even did a hand launch. The best I could get out of it was one length of the stadium before I had to land it. The diagnosis. After a phone call to the aeronautical engineer in the family, we concluded that the prop that I'm using, the 5030 prop, was out of balance, and vibration is a thrust killer. Also, the pitch of the prop is too fine, so even though it gave a good static thrust test, once it got moving, it didn't have any bite. Sort of like driving around a car in first gear and never getting into second. Also, the leading edge of the wing was about a 6mm blunt edge, which caused a lot of drag and not very efficient. The thrust to weight was about a 1:2 ratio, which was a bit marginal, especially if you don't have a very good lifting wing. And finally, I just confirmed that I had calibrated the ESC, so I was getting maximum revs for the battery that I had. The fixes. Balancing the prop. I found out that the whole batch of 5030 props that I had bought were all out of balance. They had extra weight opposite the stamp of the 5030 marking on the prop. This reduced a lot of the vibration. I've since balanced the prop on the DMFV racer as well as the prop on my little Firebird, which runs 2S, which was also out of balance. As an experiment, I've taken one of the props and forced it to have a coarser pitch. This gave less thrust in a static test, but hopefully will kick in once the plane gets moving. I've also cambered the leading edge of the wing so that it's got a nice smooth shape rather than the blunt 6mm drag-inducing leading edge that I had before. I can switch to 2S, but unfortunately, even though the receiver that I installed says it takes up to 10 volts, I could not get this to work with the 2S battery. I think I need to switch to 2S ultimately anyway to get the full potential of this model. Conclusions. Well, I was very disappointed that I wasn't able to keep the plane in the air for more than 50 meters. But on the plus side, at least it's not damaged, so I can continue to work on it and get it flying properly. I've done the mods to the wing and the prop, so we'll see how it goes next week at Indoor Aviation. My future plan is to convert it to 2S. I've just ordered a new 5-channel receiver with built-in ESC which will handle 2 or 3S batteries. This will give me a lot more power and also allow me to configure flapper-ons for low-speed performance. This should arrive in the next couple of weeks. What else have I been up to? Remember my little Magnum Reloaded? Well, I've just rebuilt the wing, giving it a slightly bigger wingspan and using my latest construction techniques with printing foam. My previous wing was just a single layer covered with tissue and watered down PVA. This version of the wing, I've given it a bit more wingspan and slightly bigger wingtips, and I've also filled in the top and the bottom. It's only added a couple of extra grams, but it's much stronger and it has more wingspan. Also, I'm not covering it with tissue, and I've cut 3 slots across the front to get the nice airfoil shape so that it bends nicely. So I'll see how that goes next week at Indoor Aviation. Also, I've been working on my 18 Warthog, and I've improved the undercarriage so that I've bent it in such a way that it can do softer landings. Now that I've got the undercarriage positioned correctly, it does great takeoffs, but when I land it, it can land a little bit hard, so hopefully this new undercarriage setup will absorb that. As usual, if you would like to track my progress with my projects, please consider subscribing to DavesFunRC, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.